Italy in World War II does not have a stellar reputation. They are quite easily mocked as, well, useless, led by a bumbling buffoon who thought very highly of himself. But what if Italy was not led by a moron in a funny hat, but by someone competent? What if I take charge of Italy? 1936 start, Iron Man mode on, historical AI focuses on, of course, as Italy. Let's go. Now our goal will be to turn Italy into something else than a junior partner, and to that end we'll need some research. The basic opener is usually always the same. You start with the basic production, construction, and then your research. Now the extra slot can either go into infantry equipment, very useful because we will be fighting early wars, very early, or we can put it on air. Air is usually a good idea, but we will need time to build up an air force, so my gut says support weapons. Ah, Rome. The Eternal City. I've been there once, pretty long time ago. Truly a marvel, not just an ancient architecture, the art. My god, some of the stuff on display in the Vatican Museum will blow your socks off. I remember seeing the Laocoon statue, like the three guys being entangled by snakes and just being awestruck. Masterworks.io makes it possible for anyone to invest in great works of art through fractional shares. Through Masterworks, you can invest in $1 million pieces of art, and each of these artworks is securitized by the SEC, allowing anyone to invest. Now, how does that work? Masterworks goes on research. Based on research in art trends and appreciation value projections, Masterworks purchases art and makes it investable to its members. That art is then held over time until Masterworks finds the best time to sell, and then once the art sells, the returns are distributed to the investors. When Masterworks sells the art you've invested in, you will get a portion of the proceeds dependent on your shares. Now don't feel like waiting for your artwork to sell, then you can always trade your shares on the Masterworks secondary market. Of course, I strongly recommend you do your own research and take a good look at Masterworks, but once you're convinced, you can skip the waitlist using my link in the description below. Signing up is easy and takes less than a minute. So remember, help out the channel while helping out yourself, and check it out down in the description below. Now, where was I? Alright, next up, focuses. We will start with the basic of army primacy. A couple of factories and cheaper land doctrine, always a good. Then, military factories. We will be fighting for most of this campaign, and fighting requires weapons, so military factories all the way. Speaking of military factories, we'll be going 5 on infantry equipment, 3 on support equipment. I don't want basic light tanks, they're garbage. Trucks is good. Let's put another 5 on close air support. That leaves us with a few more factories. We will need civilian trains. Italy does not have a lot of trains, and we will need some. Towed artillery, about 3. 3 might be a bit ambitious. Let's say 2. That leaves us with an extra slot for towed anti-air. Like I said, we don't have fighter 1s even researched, and towed anti-air will help blunt the allied or enemy air advantage. That's a pretty good baseline to work with. We'll adjust this as necessary. Then the Navy. I love these big ships. I think the historical real-life vessels were beautiful, but they are also sadly pointless. The early ship hulls will have to go. There will be no Comte di Cavour or Giulio Cesare. Bye-bye. We can build the 2 1936 heavies, though I'll put them to the back of the queue, I think. And then we'll just finish building everything else that's in the queue. That's good enough. Yeah, that'll work. We will just group everything up into a single fleet, put everything in the Squadra Navale. Any admiral will do, and just have them exercise a little bit. We need some Navy experience. That brings us to the army. First off, Ethiopia. We will be waging a little bit of a campaign here. This is technically enough to beat the Ethiopians, but we want to optimize this a little. I want to train a couple of my generals here, most notably Messe. He's pretty okay, but he lacks the stuff I need for a field marshal, which fortunately Visconti Prasca does have. Inflexible strategist is very good, so I'll be training him here a little. And in order to train him optimally, I need a couple of these extra divisions, so we'll send over all the mountaineers, might as well, and then I'll send over 2 more infantry divisions. There, that's a full army of 24. Now, what will we do here? We are going to set up a front line to the north, where we will do some grinding in the mountains, and grinding like this way so we can attack from 3 sides. That will start grinding the trait of trickster. Very important, it leads to improv expert when we have the terrain traits. Now, to grind the general, we'll just do a little bit of medium grinding. We'll put 6 divisions in the south. Is that 6? No, that's 5. And what we'll do is is essentially grind one trait at a time. Every time one of these is almost full, like say Trickster is at 99% completion, we'll stop doing whatever gives experience to that trait and move on to something else. This way we can grind multiple traits, because every time one trait is done, the next trait will require substantially more experience. So it's hard to explain. You'll see when I'm doing it. Let's also queue up a couple more infantry divisions. Like, I want at least 2 full armies and some trash to put on the Yugoslav border, because yes, Yugoslavia is going to get the axe. Let's go to occupied territories, release the nation of Eritrea as a puppet, and then we will release the Somali Sultanate as a puppet as well. Now, not only do we no longer need to garrison these territories, that's just good, we also have the option of going into our focus tree and bypass the Ethiopian war logistics. That just shaves off 70 days of our progress, and this doesn't give us anything useful anyway, so bye-bye. We can move on to our rest of our focus tree a little quicker. Now, I did forget that this takes away the front lines I just drew, so whoops. 93, 94, 95, 6, 7, 8, 99. And now we halt these attacks. And to the north here, we'll just do 1, 2, 3. And that way we will not be getting experience for Trickster, but we'll still get Organizer, Infantry Leader, and the various terrain traits. Now we'll keep an eye on the Mountaineer trait. That is at 70%, and we will continue getting experience for it because there's a lot of mountain tiles in that region. And again, it's creeping up there towards that 90% mark. Once it hit 99, we stop attacking into mountains and we only fight in the desert tile to the right, and we'll turn our attention to the south. There we go. Mountaineer 99, so halt these attacks. This one can keep going, and then we do a little bit of attacking here. Just be careful not to attack from multiple sides into a single province like this. This would be bad. Just make sure you do not go over the 99% mark. Like, it's not required, it just speeds things up if you don't. Anyway, let's keep this going, and now we're grinding a little bit of Desert Fox. Don't think we'll actually get it, but we are still getting Organizer and Infantry Leader. That's enough explaining for me, though. If I keep this up, we'll be here for another hour. So 1936 destroyers, and we're making something ridiculously cheap. All it has to do is get in the way of the enemy. So the cheapest gun we can find. I like to slap on some torpedoes. Maybe we'll get a lucky hit on an enemy capital ship, always worth a try, and some good engines so they at least stand a chance of surviving. This is ridiculously cheap. This is called a Roach Destroyer. Spam these babies out. They will be your screening vessels. We want to go to war, and we want to go to war quickly with a lot of people. The easiest way to do that is still to declare war on Yugoslavia. They're guaranteed by the French, the Czechoslovaks, and Romania. The French are the only real adversary here, and it's good to take them out early. That way we can focus all of our attention on the UK. So we'll justify for any province on the Yugoslavs. They will open the door to European dominance. With armored primacy done, we've bypassed Ethiopian war logistics. Let's get industrial effort. Industrial effort 2 is very original, and the extra research slot. Now those extra factories we just got from a focus, just gonna put them into infantry equipment. I need at least 10 on guns. You can see we have a fairly hefty deficit. After that is done, we can put some more on artillery, we can put some more on support equipment, and then we can start working on the close air support. Cass is still king, baby. All right, dispersed, and let's also go a little bit ahead of time on improved machine tools. The industry must pump out many guns. We will need a lot of these bad boys. All right, so we've got about 130-ish days left. I'm gonna need a lot more guns to get all this. I may not actually get all of them out. I just need enough to take out France, so I will need 2 armies for that, and then some trash to hold the front with Yugoslavia. Might not be feasible to hold this entire front. The Yugoslav army is not massive, but it's enough to overwhelm a small force. But if I can just park something on Istria to hold the supply, it's urban, it's fairly defensive, and on the tile above, the mountains in Istria should be enough. So 10 8-ish divisions should be fine to hold that. I'll just build what I can, and well, we'll see from there. And there goes Ethiopia. We could puppet them, but that will bypass the Ethiopian war logistics. Don't want that, so I'm just going to annex them, and I can always release them as a puppet later on, and we'll just bring our boys home. It will be easier to supply them that way. We'll focus 1 army to the south and 1 army to the north. That way we can really carve up France. I know, the French army is pretty large, but overall the French army is also pretty terrible. Namely, they have a massive deficit of equipment, and they don't have any we have a lot more military factories than France does at the start, and we're much more efficient in our build-up. Why? Because we're a player. Speaking of efficiency, I'm not being very efficient, so we want to go and spend a little bit of our political power. Now, we could wait a little bit longer Endeavor for 150 and get the War Industrialist, you know, get more military factories out there, but I need more army experience. And to get that army experience, we're going to go into our military high command and appoint an infantry expert. It's a good source of early game army XP. I could have grinded a little more efficiently in Italy, but in Ethiopia, but I didn't, and here we are. Might also just start exercising these units so we get a little bit of army XP going. And then with the war over, we're actually going to be able to deploy some of these units in time. Now our basic unit looks like this. It's 12 combat width, not the world's greatest, but it will serve. We will not get massive amounts of equipment or army experience right away, so this is what we'll have to use to fight France. I might be able to add some support artillery to this, provided we're able to build enough of it. That will add a little bit of bite to them, but that is not for now. We can wait. We should be in pretty good shape to take on France, but they have a big navy, so let's also take our big navy and just set up strike force in, well, all of our coastal areas so they don't naval invade us. The French fleet's big, but ours is also big, and it should enable us to maintain naval supremacy. Once we get the extra research slot here, we're going to quickly hop over to Triumph in Africa, get that extra base stability. That will prevent strikes later on, since we will be over 80% war support and 80% stability. No strikes and no mutinies in the army. Can't afford that. Rather avoid it if we can. And we've got 50 army XP. Let's spend a little bit of it. I'm going with superior firepower. Now, I know what you're thinking. Grand battle plan's not bad. You're already committed. Yes, but I'd much rather have the soft attack since we will be playing aggressively. This entrenchment's good, this is better. Mass assault, not my thing, and mobile warfare, yeah, Italy's not really a tank country, so superior firepower it is. All right, our justification is finished, but we still need these troops, so we're gonna hold on to this for about a month or so. Yeah, let's just prioritize that. I need these guys deployed to hold that front. The rest of these guys will have to make do with less stuff and less experienced troops. We'll just hold there for a while. For the Air Force, we've got, what is this? Close air support. I'm building more of this, so I'm going to put up some of it. The close air support can go over to southern France. We'll support our attack there. This is, what, Naval Bombers? And they're pretty irrelevant. I can put them up over the Tyrrhenian or the Adriatic, doesn't matter. This is fighters. We have 300 of them, and we're not building any, so we'll put 100 up over Italy itself, just on interception. Like, the AI loves to strat bomb and to do that logistics bombing, and then we'll put the other 200 up over the Alpine front because they will hit our logistics hard. I need something there to stop them, or at least blunt their attacks, and then the tactical bombers can also go to southern France. Now, hurry up and get my units deployed. Oh boy. Yeah, it would have been better to just queue up colonial divisions from the start on a high priority. I kind of cocked that up. You know what? I'm gonna force deploy them, otherwise they will never be done in time. Prioritize reinforcement, and when we get guns, at some point we'll train more. What we'll also do is give these guys, I should have given these guys the basic infantry template. That will give them some entrenchment. Entrenchment is important. Triumph in Africa is done. We'll join the Anti-Comintern Pact, and now our stability and war support are high enough that we don't need to worry about strikes. This is it. We're gonna declare war on, well, half of Europe. Let's do that. Fortunately, we are more than capable of dealing with everything here, so it looks big, but it's really not as much of a concern as you'd think. I forgot to put my fighters up though. All right, the CAS up over southern France on close air support and logistics strike. More CAS is more good. We're gonna force a breach to the south. We can technically grind our way through the Alps. France will run out of equipment before we do, but it will be far too expensive for it to be worth it. Instead, we'll just put up our CAS and we'll grind the southern two tiles. Nice is not a mountain tile, and it will be the easiest to break through, and the tile above, well, we'll have to go through mountains somewhere, so oh yeah, pure CAS damage. We're already breaking through around Nice. Never let the AI recover. So we've broken one tile, their units have retreated into the tile behind. Keep pushing into that wound, never allow them rest, never allow them to recover. All right, army experience is flooding in. Let's spend some of it. We'll add just some support artillery. We don't have enough technically, so it might be better if we duplicate this. Let's see, edit, duplicate, add artillery to that, and these will be our glorious Roman legions. I've just changed Messe's infantry over to this. That way we can slowly change units over so we don't ever really run out of artillery. artillery. Still have naval supremacy. I could probably naval invade, but you really don't have to. I have an old video where I do this relatively similarly using a completely combined arms approach where I do a para drop to the north here to cut off troops, a naval invasion from the south here to completely encircle the allied, well, the French armies of the Alps, but a little convoluted, and this works just as well. All right, and we're pushing, we're moving forward. Oh, it looks like the French have completely screwed their supply, so how about we go on the offensive here as well? Every tile we take, France is just one step closer to buckling, and there's really nothing the AI can do about this. Imagine being outmatched by Italy. Let's clean this up a little. This is getting a little funky. Let's just set a field marshal order, and we will just start attacking north. Now, we don't want to capitulate the French too quickly, but have confidence that we can do some funky business here. All in all, everything is going fairly well. No Step Back really turned HoI4 into a game of supply. If you have the local supply, you are bound to win. Yeah, you can see the French army is still sizable. They have way more divisions than us. They just can't supply them. I do regret not encircling more of their troops to the north there, but I'll take what I can get. If you can get a juicy encirclement off, it's almost always worth it, obviously. But if it doesn't happen, it's fine. You can easily push France like this because their troops are just so terrible. Just keep an eye on this. Before they get too close to capitulation, you want to start your justification on the Austrians. And it looks like we've got a clean shot towards Paris once we finish cutting up the French army a little bit more. Ooh, they're hitting force attack. That's going to cost you equipment. Anyway, time for a justification on the what am I saying? It's clearly Austria. You don't actually want to kill too many of the French troops, because when they capitulate, I'd much rather get their equipment into my coffers. But while we wait for that to happen, just gonna queue up a couple more divisions, about 14, so we can fill out that other army that we have on the Yugoslav border. 8 more days. Just gotta make sure not to capture Paris in 8 more days. I kind of screwed this one up. I accidentally walked into Paris. Well, there goes France, and my justification was not quite done. We'll see if the UK intervenes. I had about 2 or 3 days left to go. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. It's just a little annoying if we cock it up now. We will need Corsica and all of mainland France. This is going to be a massive spike in world tension as well. We're also going to need all of North Africa, and pretty much everything else we can puppet. We want to make as many of these puppets as we can, mostly because they all have the generic focus tree. Okay, so that's done. Yeah, as expected. Oh, look at that, 3 days. I really cocked it up. It's fine though. It's not the end of the world. What we are going to do though is make sure we get our own navy out of the Mediterranean before we do anything stupid. Let's talk to Germany, ask for docking rights. Let's sail these boys over to Weseremz. We'll park one army up against the border with Austria, move another army up against the border with Yugoslavia. They will be attacking from here, and then when everybody's in position, I'll put the 10 units that are currently holding this line here and put them in reserve in northern France. I'm very much expecting an invasion by the Royal Navy. We're going to need a little bit more manpower, so I'm just going to go up to extensive conscription. That should mobilize enough men, and along with the industry injection we will receive soon, I should be able to squeeze out a few more divisions. Let's also start our offensive against Yugoslavia. They are a spent force. They will not be able to hold us back. For an army with no guns, Yugoslavia is still putting up quite the fight. Alright, this is fine. We've opened up a crack in the Austrian defenses. We'll declare war. Yes, the allies are going to get involved. That is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And we're just going to start trucking towards Graz, and we'll wipe out the Austrians. Should be relatively easy. Germany is allowing us into their faction, so we will join their faction. We'll not ask him to join the fight, though. So we've got everything we need set up to guard our ports. I don't think we'll be getting naval invaded by the UK anytime soon. Yes, they're all joining the allies. That's fine. It's actually expected. We'll deal with that problem later. It's not even a problem, it's just an opportunity. Garrisons are a bit of a pickle though, but yeah, was to be expected. I know, I'm not really pulling off any masterful maneuvers in terms of maneuvering the AI here, but I really don't have to. Well, Austria ought to be going tits up any moment now. I think we need just 1 or 2 more of the victory points like Innsbruck, Salzburg, Wels. And there goes Austria, great. Now, of course, I wish I could have... what? Anyway, of course, I wish I could have done that in a separate peace deal. Would have been a lot easier, but it's fine. It's fine. Now we're just gonna drive into the heart of Czechoslovakia with the blue army. Preferably, we move ahead quickly so they're not capable of manning their very extensive front line before we get there. Yeah, we've cracked the soft underbelly of Czechoslovakia. Shouldn't have too many difficulties getting the victory points, capitulating capitulating them as well. And in theory, you don't actually have to capitulate them. What we could do at this point is hold our lines here as they are. They would all get involved. The Romanians can't touch us. We're fine as we are. And just justify on, for instance, Hungary to take one tile. While we send an army across to the UK, naval invade through these top 2 sea zones, capture everything on the home islands except for London, keep that encircled, and then we can capitulate the UK at any point and end the war whenever we choose. But it's getting a little messy on the continent because like I said, I screwed it up with Austria there. So let's do this properly. Right, the army that I was using to shield northern France, apparently it's useless. The AI is not coming for us, so I'm gonna reposition them to the port of Wilhelmshaven. I've set up 5 naval invasions of 2 infantry divisions each. Hurrah! There goes Yugoslavia, and that opens up the entire southern border of Romania. Let's thunder in there, see what damage we can do. They should be pretty spread out, and just move in before they can really redeploy troops. Capture victory points, capture railway, capture the supply. Just go, 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 go. Speed is everything. Anyway, naval invasion is ready. Let's get our ships up. I hope we can get naval supremacy here. Naval invasions, yes, we have supremacy, and let's launch the naval invasions. There we go. This is going to be a little tight. Much of it's going to depend on where the UK has its army. That's going to decide whether or not we're going to win there. I'm also going to take all of my air for the time being, halt them. I'm going to redirect it to the island campaign. That's going to be very important. We'll grind away at Romania some more. We should be able to get them. That's a wide open front. Their troops are all out of position. They were trying to save Czechoslovakia, but they should have been saving themselves. Now that I have a doorway straight to Bucharest, I am going to take it. Right, naval invasions are, well, happening. I don't actually think the UK is defending the home island, so this will not always go like this. Sometimes they put all of their troops in the home islands, other times they have nothing here. I can live with this, so just quickly expand, take as many victory points as you can, capture ports, focus on cutting the island in half from Hull towards Liverpool. Half of your army, or like 3/4, push south to encircle London, and about 8, maybe fewer divisions can push north to clean up the highlands. Alright, country is pretty much cut in half. Let's just keep everything moving forward nicely. I wish these guys would move, thank you. And we have air superiority over the Isles. 16 divisions focused on the south, and the rest can focus on cleaning up the north. The only thing we really need to take into account is that we cannot afford to capture London. We need to encircle it, but not actually take it. I want to keep the UK in this, but at our mercy for as long as possible. I do wonder where all of the UK's armies is. I was an idiot. I'm gonna have to delete this. I'm gonna fall back. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. You end up screwing yourself. So now I need to do this manually, and hopefully the AI will walk back into London when I get out of there. We're gonna leave that wide open and give them the opportunity to retake it. What we want to do now is encircle London, which I've obviously failed at. I accidentally took it. But what happens is we will move to just start justifying on random countries now. We can justify a war goal on Belgium, for instance, in 10 days. And the goal of this is to keep London encircled, the British Isles occupied, and then start picking off countries one by one. Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Bulgaria, Greece, etc. Just pick them off one by one, get them involved in the war, get them involved in the peace deal, and then take them out. That way we only need to capture London to fire the peace event. Well, in a stunning display of skill, I've also managed to get these units encircled. So the strategy is, I wouldn't say failing, but not going according to plan. Just gonna grab a little bit extra here though. I'm just gonna quickly justify on the Hungarians. Gonna take 20 days. Gonna make sure the UK doesn't capitulate for another 20 days. Can't even do that right. UK has capitulated. Now the good news is all of those people that were involved in the peace deal are now fair game, so I can take all of this stuff now. Alrighty, let's see here. We need all of Yugoslavia, so we'll just take that. We need a good chunk of Austria, but I'd rather just have all of Austria while I'm here. I don't think we technically need any of Czechoslovakia, so I'll just puppet them. Romania goes. I think we need all of its southern bits, except for Bukovina, Moldova, Bessarabia. Like, I don't need none of that. Might as well just puppet that. As for the UK, we get cores on everything to the south of northern England. So I think like this, we get cores on all of that. I'll puppet the rest, and I'll puppet the Raj while I'm here. And we are done. Little suboptimal, but respectable nonetheless. So what I'm going to do now is a little bit of tricky business. I'm going to send one army over to gonna send one army over to Canada on that province. I'm going to build up that port, like the naval base to the max, as long with its infrastructure to the max, high priority. I could have taken that province for myself, but oh well. And as you can see, Canada is now the leader of the faction called the Allies. This is what's left of the Allies. Canada will still be throwing out guarantees, so eventually they'll guarantee somebody. Hopefully they'll guarantee Hungary. That would be easy, but I doubt it. Hungary is now guaranteed by Canada, so we'll get the Allies involved once again, and we would only need to knock out Canada. So we are going to be at war with the Major once again, and we can go for round 2, where we eat all of the Low Countries. We eat Bulgaria, we eat Greece, Albania will eat via focus tree, so it doesn't matter, and we'll eat Turkey as well. As for our navy, let's bring those boys home. We can use them for naval invasions with Greece. All right, justification there is finished. I'm just gonna wait until these boys actually make it here. All right, our boys are arriving there. We're just gonna declare war on Hungary and see if Canada actually has the balls to join. Run over Hungary. All right, Canada has joined. Good. We'll start our next justification on Bulgarians, 15 days. And we can just keep chaining these while these boys just go over here, set up a front line, and prepare to walk to the other side of Canada. Now, the reason why we're not just directly attacking Canada is because Canada itself is guaranteed by the UK. So if you were to attack Canada, the US would get involved. But now Canada decides to involve itself in a European conflict, the US doesn't care. So that is where the fun part comes in. Now we just gotta overrun whatever remains of the Hungarian army. It's really not very impressive. Go on, get rid of Hungary. And don't call any of your puppets in. And there goes Hungary. And we move on to the next target on our kill list. From this point forward, everybody we declare war on is going to join the Allies, and we kill them. I can start my attack whenever I want. Just need to call the British Empire in because they control the territory. I should have taken it for myself. There you go, the Netherlands. You know, I almost feel bad about this. Almost. Oh well, it's not my fault they cannot comprehend my strategic genius. See, it's a good thing that Italy really wasn't a superpower in World War II. It would have been problematic for the Allies. Alright, let's deal with the Swiss next. Alright, time to delete the Swiss. And let's justify on, yeah, Luxembourg. Swiss can be a bit of a tough nut to crack. It's very bad terrain, but we outnumber them so much, plus our air power. Really no problems. Alright, Albania yields. We've done Luxembourg. Let's justify on Greece next. Go on. Fall over Switzerland. My god, we've pushed them all the way back to Zurich. Okay, there you go, the Swiss. Alright, Greece will be over soon enough. Let's justify on Turkey, and I think we're done for the moment. I would need Spain still, and I think Iraq. Yeah, that's about it, really. Annoyingly, Spain's still not done with its civil war. Alright, that's nationalist Spain almost done, but Jesus Christ, Franco, could you hurry it up? Alright, there goes Greece. Now for Turkey, it's a bit of a tough nut to crack at times, so I'm just gonna set up a couple of naval invasions to hit them. Probably don't need to do this. They will eventually be overwhelmed by our superior forces, but you know, the run is long enough as it is. And attack from all sides. Turkey folds like a cheap suit or a wet blanket, or whatever you wanna reference. And that should be Iraq, and I think all we need now is Portugal and Spain, who still hasn't finished its war. Oh, slowpokes. Oh, I just noticed I forgot to take Kuwait. I need to own this to form the Roman Empire, so it looks like the British Empire is about to lose its autonomy. As for everything else, let's just move and take out Portugal next, I suppose. Bye-bye, Portugal. Apparently nobody's even home. That really just leaves me with Spain. Bit embarrassing that Franco still hasn't fixed this. Yeah, I'll wait, he's almost done. Ah, there we go. Now we can make Franco disappear, and that's it. Pay no attention to this massive pile of icons at the top. I just got bored of clicking them away. It was very annoying. And there goes Franco. Fought so hard just to be conquered. Well, we're pretty much done here now. I just need to finish off Canada, which in itself is a bit of a pain. I literally have to walk to Vancouver. Oh well, let's just do that then. Just need a little bit more political power, and I can integrate the British Empire, get their fleet, and get the territories of Kuwait and Gibraltar that I forgot to take in the peace deal, and we'll be done. None of the research matters at this point. I can do whatever I want. Look at Italy now. Oh, there we go. Now let's just take what we need. Ah, glorious. I just need to wait for 40 days, integrate the UK, and I can click the button and show the world what a competent Mussolini could have achieved in his lifetime. Not even his lifetime, I think 2 years. A little over 2 years. There we go. Let's integrate the UK. That's gonna lag the game out. Oh boy, that's terrible. Ah, and now we can realize Roman ambitions. Ladies and gentlemen, 1938. It's not the fastest, but oh, look at that beauty. beautiful Imperium Romanum. Maybe it's a good thing in our timeline that Mussolini was not quite as competent as he is in this one. Look at that man's magnificent new hat, Augustus Mussolini. And with that, we're done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload more content. And check out this video. Sure, you'll love it. See ya.